It was not a line in the sand kind of experience for my journey. So it was not a moment where I woke up and I said, oh, I'm going to be a coach. It was a very progressive experience for me and my journey. So prior to doing the business coaching side, I was personal trainer, coaching people health and wellness. So that has always been a passion. My partnership with the company started more administratively. And so I was exposed a lot to the different styles of coaching on the team. I started to be able to envision what that could look like for me and what my coaching identity might become. And so the transition for me into full-time coaching was more progressive and less immediate. It's about 2 years before I really opened my mouth and said, I think I might want to move towards coaching. And so when I started kind of vocalizing that, I think several members of the team were on board with that decision a year into my journey, but I was not quite there yet until about 2.5 years. And then it was really going into my 3rd year that I started making steps to building a practice and acting upon what I had been thinking about doing. Well, helping people is obviously a big motivator. We take into account the intrinsic and extrinsic motivators in our life. So extrinsic would obviously be things like, I could see no ceiling on my income. I could see opportunities to grow, flexibility. Entrepreneurship is very close to my heart. I've actually never worked a 9-to-5. I've only ever worked for myself. And internally, the why for coaching, I feel very strongly that there is a very toxic message to entrepreneurs and people in business that it's kind of a win-lose situation. You might win with your title or win with your income, but you'll lose with your time. You'll lose with the amount of time you spend, the maybe emotion. You might give and not get anything back. And so for me, having grown up in this kind of hustle culture era where everyone's their own boss, it's super popular, but it comes at a cost. That for me was always the motivator, is to change the narrative, because time is legacy. And so if we spend all of our time working, our legacy is work. And I just believe our value is so much greater than our work. You'll be hard pressed to find me telling clients or people in my circle to do more, be more, show up more aggressive, and give more than they have to give. My message is a lot more, hey, let's pull back a little bit. Let's really just do the core things, and let's rest a little bit more. Let's really be sure that you're pleased with the legacy you're creating. Oh yeah. Oh yes. I will say my biggest doubt was the sales side, which is so funny to me because it's the side I love the most. And I think the reason I doubted my sales skill was really because of the messaging of what sales has to be. And I didn't see myself holding sales meetings or discovery calls or filling my pipeline, whatever that actually means. So I'm doing this so I can give back and help. And so all of that language really made it feel like I was taking from people. And so when I'll say the moment that doubt was overcome is when I realized I'm giving, I'm adding value, and I trust. I'm going to ask money for that in the end. But to get to that money conversation is not going to require me to change my why. It doesn't change my mission. I don't have to be somebody else to get to that revenue conversation. So that was really the doubt, and how I was able to overcome that over time and actually see myself as somebody asking for real dollars with real people, growing a real business, not just a hobby. You know, my favorite part of my practice is being the bridge. So how can I bridge myself? How can I be the bridge between two women who need to meet? Just continually adding value, being the bridge, just thinking outside of, I have to make money. I have to make my paycheck this month. Let me just connect people and do what I can. And it has not yet served me wrong. My challenge has always been myself. And it's time. Shocking. My greatest mission is time. And my greatest kryptonite is also time. And so I'm entering a season where that I think there's been a lot more success I could have experienced monetarily had I allowed myself to lean into that. But I do get a little shy when I see time, my calendar start to fill up. And so I have kind of held myself back a little bit on relationships where I could have had another conversation or said, hey, who do you know that would find this valuable? I've been a little bit shy with that because I protect my calendar, because I've lived my life different, letting myself have the flexibility to maybe take a couple more calls in the week to grow success. So I will say I have found it challenging, but I can really identify that it's me. It's not the market. It's not a lack of market. It's definitely not a lack of need. It's been a personal, I'm nervous. This is going to back me into a corner. But I do earn a living wage. I want to be very clear about that. I do earn real money for my time, and I'm very pleased with my pay per hour, even when I'm working on admin items. Every minute I spend on my business, I do get compensated for. And so I want to be clear about that too, that I price accordingly. So that way, when I am taking an extra hour away from my kids to work on emails, I know it's a compensated hour. I'm at that place where I'm like, yes, like this is exciting. This is what I've been working on. And most importantly, I have not traded my time for my paycheck. And that is what has always mattered to me the most. I never want to trade my time for more money. So this week I have 16 hours of calls. That includes time with my coach. That includes, I have had 2 prospect calls this week. My coaching hours vary between 10 and 12 hours a week on Zoom coaching actively. I never work more than 25 hours all in. Email prep, I've got a couple teams, so I might do some one-off team coaching with 6 different individuals, so that might be 6 calls. But I buffer myself to never work beyond 25 hours, but I do average about 20 hours a week all in. I love the people I work with. I so much enjoy getting to be a part of what they do. And so now I'm sharing stories of women from all over the country to different women, encouraging them. And so now we're in this beautiful web of powerful stories. I do not take it lightly that people share some of their hardest and most joyful moments with me. And so I want to protect and honor that. And I want their business to grow, and I want them to make more money and get their time back. But importantly, I want them to be heard. I want them to know that I carry their story. I'm using it to help other people. I feel so grateful that I get to say, this is what I do. Yes, I would absolutely do it again. I will say what I would do different though. I think our impact goes further faster when we have a very clear coach identity. And I think in my early days, I really was casting the net far and wide, and that's fine. But when I started leaning into, I'm really a systematic thinker. I really help more in the creative solutions, the sales side, the practicality. Since I've started more branding myself that way, and really most of my coaching sessions arrive at that place, I have found a lot more traction in that. And then industry specific, I recently went to one industry and I have seen a direct correlation between being super specific about that and being vocal about it, but coach women in this industry, and that's it. Oh man, how to transition when it's time for people to move on in their journey, but you've got the system, you've got the process, I think you're ready. Like, I think, that has been the most surprising thing, is just journeying with people through us just becoming friends. Being surrounded by our team, that has changed my practice, it's changed my life. When I look at where I was thinking I was headed, I'm in such a different place. I don't know as if I would have believed that to be possible had I not been on a team that said, Alicia, I'm not going to want for you what you don't want for yourself, but anything you want, I'm going to believe you can have that. And so to be alongside not just one person, 9, 10, 11, 12 people that all say, hey, if you want it, it's yours. Let me help you. That has changed my life. More than anything, just being on a team where I'm believed in, and I know my message is different than a lot of people's. I know my way of coaching is different, but to have acceptance and excitement over our differences has given me freedom to go like play full out. Because I'm not thinking, ooh, I wonder what, I know that they wouldn't do it that way, or I wonder what they're thinking. In my mind, I'm like, they're like literally cheering me on. But man, it's necessary and it's important, and we have you, and you need help, let me help. I think if you enter this partnership with revenue sharing, thinking, what am I entitled to? What am I losing? This would be a very bad partnership for you. The team is here to help you grow. The team is never here to take from you. And so if your perception is, look at what is being taken from me, you're really missing the point. This team is about giving back to you. Like, I can have personal ownership that if I struggle in my business, if I reach out to any member of the team and say, and I've done this on countless times, will you meet with me? Will you look at this? Can you help me? Will you meet with the client? Can I pick your brain on this? How might you say this? That to me is worth 9 times more than any revenue sharing. When I, might look at my payout this month and I'll see what I'm contributing to the team, man, I know that I'm getting a value from that 10 times over. I'm also going to contribute, but I'm going to withdraw. It may not be I'm withdrawing income, but it might be I'm withdrawing on the relationships, the resources we have, the advantages, the partnerships, the relationships. And so for me, sharing in the revenue is a gift. Find your coach identity. What are you even selling? We have so many resources and so many diverse ways of coaching, so many diverse things we coach to. And in the beginning, it can be easy to lose your way trying to accomplish all of those things. And we might come out to a prospect and we could do all of these things and we have all these resources. And I think it's to your detriment when you're starting out. So, from the get-go, if I could go back, I would be industry specific. I would be very specific on what my coach identity is. Healthy. I think that kind of encapsulates it for me. Healthy, vulnerable, responsive, good and bad. We've had hard conversations on this team, but when you have a healthy culture and you have people willing to admit faults and willing to do better and willing to figure out solutions, I've not one time had an arrangement or a conversation with a coach on our team or anyone running anything on the back end that was not focused on being sure that they were serving and giving the best that they can.